Alright, I apologize for the wind. The wind is howling, but, I figured, and there's banging stuff around, so, just bear with me for now. But I wanted to, um, utilize the wind for today to go over, um, a video to describe the G breath, the G wave breath, as well as kind of talking about the individual brain waves and how they relate to the chakras and some other stuff as well. Um, Another thing, I'm not really feeling all that well right now. It's like an energetic thing, so I figured today would be the best day to talk about energy and to do my part. Again, this term or these discoveries, this knowledge was not, you know, discovered by me. It was discovered by, as far as I'm aware, Core Love or Corey Herter. So I'm just trying to do my part for the collective of teaching the aspects of it that I know and spreading the word, etc. Because there's a lot of other people out there that aren't talking about this stuff, and I'm just trying to do my part in spreading the knowledge and spreading the wisdom. And the sun is setting, and it's a bit cloudy, so it will get dark here soon. But I'm gonna try and go over the graphics as quickly as possible, well, as also as accurately as possible to give people an understanding of how to do this. So I already made the video on the G breath. If you haven't watched that video, go back, watch the video on the sacred G breath. It was my second video, so you can just go to my videos, click filter from the oldest to newest, and just you'll find the second video. It's part of my breath tech series. But the G breath is essentially understanding gamma brain waves and how gamma brain waves produce DMT in the pineal gland, and what that allows us to do is to activate the electromagnetic energy that animates all of life. Um, some people, synthesize DMT crystals from various plants, or they make the shamanic brew known as ayahuasca to activate DMT release in their brain. But with the G breath, it's in smaller amounts, it's more manageable, and it's part of a practice to clear engrams of memory. So the G breath is essentially this process here. It's going clockwise through the four base chakras, or the basic chakras. These are the core chakras. They are the basic, in a sense, because they are governed and regulated by one single breath. Beta, the blue chakra, which resonates with the voice. Some people call it the throat chakra, but in my opinion, it's the voice chakra. That is regulated through the mouth breathing. So in through your mouth and out through your mouth. Alpha, the heart center, is inhale mouth, exhale nose. Theta, the solar plexus or the stomach chakra, the fire chakra, is in and out of your nose. And delta is the sacral chakra, or the generative chakra, the sexual organs, is in through your nose and exhale through your mouth. And zeta is essentially the G breath, but going this way, back, like going mouth, nose, nose, mouth, nose, mouth. But we're not going to be doing the zeta breath today. We're going to be doing a basic wave breath of one of these four. I think I've decided we're going to work on delta, and that's what this map here is. Okay. And then what we're going to do is we're going to do the same sequence of the wave breath, but with gamma. Going back over the structure of the G breath, we always begin with mouth, right? So that's the first breath here. I don't know if you can read that, but that's a 1. We always begin on mouth. And then we go mouth, nose, and then we go to nose, mouth, and then we finish the breath here at mouth. Now, if we were to do more than one, so that's 5 breaths in total. The G breath is 5, the G and the Z breath are 5 breaths in total. We start here, go here, go here, go here, and finish with a second beta, a second mouth, to complete the cycle. Because if we were to just do 1, 2, 3, 4 and end here, it wouldn't connect it back to beta, and thus it wouldn't create the circuit of energy, right? To create the gamma breath. So so that's why I wrote 5 here. Okay, so 5 breaths is one cycle of the G breath. Now, if we were to do multiple cycles, say if we were to do 2 cycles, then we would start here with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and on that second mouth, for the first cycle to be completed, that second mouth acts as the first for the next sequence. So this would be the 6th breath. You wouldn't need to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3. You see what I'm saying? You don't need to do this 2 times in a row in order to go on to another sequence. This second mouth of the first cycle is the first for this cycle, right? So do you understand what I'm saying? You would go mouth. For 2 cycles, you would go mouth, nose, 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 mouth, mouth, nose, mouth. And that would be the 9th breath. The key here is that you start here and you end here. But if you're doing more than one cycle, you would just go right up into mouth, nose, mouth, and then finish here at mouth. So 3 cycles would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So you see what I'm saying? There's 13 breaths in total. I just want to make that clear that for every time you end on mouth, that ending mouth can act as the first mouth of any subsequent cycle. So I just want to make that very clear. You don't need to breathe mouth, nose, mouth, nose, mouth, nose, mouth. I mean, you can, but it's not necessary. You would just be activating more mouth than is necessary, because that second mouth, when you come around to completion, acts as the first mouth of the next cycle, right? Just as long as you start here and you cycle through these and you end here, it will produce a gamma brainwave. And thus, by producing the gamma brainwave, it releases DMT. Okay? And by activating the DMT, what we're essentially doing is we're activating the ether, or the electromagnetic energy that essentially creates consciousness in all things. And by activating that, what it will do is it will then activate memory. Memory is essentially information. Okay? And when it activates that information, it activates that charge. And whenever you realize that by doing the G breath, it acts as a sort of diagnostic. It'll run a diagnostic check throughout your entire energy field, and the information or the memory that is brought up will essentially be the appropriate memory or the appropriate thought or feeling that needs to be worked on. Okay? So what you'll notice is that if you were to do, say, 3 cycles of the G breath, what you'll notice if you're paying attention to your breathing is that just as a basic lesson, one of these will stand out among the others. Say, for instance, if you do the G breath, right, say 3 cycles or 2, what if you get sad? If you get a feeling of sadness, well, then that means you have a high alpha charge that needs to be processed. Or if you get a lot of mental imagery or storyline, right, just information flying at you and it's just too much information, that means you have a theta charge that needs to be converted and discharged. Or if you kind of get like sleepy, or you get this like kind of dreamy, like tired feeling, then that's a delta charge. If you instantly have thoughts of your chemical structures, such as if you start thinking about food, or if you feel like you start thinking about any sort of chemical that you're addicted to, if you feel like you start to think about those things, then that means you have a beta charge that's highly wound up, in a sense. In our muscles, we have these little springs, these little coils that are known as muscle filaments. And as we do things in life, we're storing electrical charges in the muscle filaments, right? And they can get wound up and tight, right? They're like sine waves. And as they tighten up, it's storing those experiences and those memories in those muscles, and it can create what is known as pain. It can create negative emotion, etc. And by understanding the charge that is stuck or too overactive or too wound up, we can essentially hone in on that specific breath, and we can release that memory charge, right? So this is a very, very important meditation practice. I would say that the G breath and these practices of the wave breath are essentially the basics of meditation. Okay? So let's say that you have an overactive, or you have a low delta, right? Let's say that you are getting sleepy and you are starting to feel exhausted and you feel like you need to lay down and go to sleep. Then what you would do after running that diagnostic check of 3 cycles of the G breath, what you would then do is you would go into the wave breath. Now the wave breath works like this. It's all about speed and it's all about rhythm. Now the way that this works is, this graph here shows the speed of your breath, right? So up here would be a very fast breath, okay? And right here in the medium is just like a normal breath, just in and out how you would do normally. And then down here is a slow breath, right? So roughly, approximately like 1 second breath, like real fast, 3 seconds for a normal breath, and 5 seconds for a slow breath. These aren't exact lengths of time, but they're just approximations. So for instance, I'm going to do some nose-mouth breaths, but we're going to use this graph in order to go through them. So what we're going to essentially do is a delta wave breath, okay? Now these points here along the sine wave are where we are mapping the speed at which we will be doing them, okay? So this first point here is a medium breath. And as we go down, we're going to be doing a slow breath. And as we come back up to this medium point, we're going to be doing a medium breath. And as we come up here, we're going to be doing a fast breath. And as we come back here, it's a medium breath. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Just like the structure of the G breath, okay? So when we come here, that's like the second mouth. After that, we would go right back down in the slow, and then back to the medium, and then fast, and then medium. So this acts as that second mouth. So what we're going to do, or we are going to do 2 cycles of the nose-mouth breath, okay? We're going to do 2 cycles, but we're going to do them with this speed here, okay? So I want you to follow along with me. So we're going to only be doing nose-mouth breaths. So that's inhale through your nose and exhale through your mouth. That's the only breath that we're not going to be doing this pattern here, okay? We're only going to be doing nose-mouth, okay? So as I go along here, I'm going to follow each guided breath with medium, slow, medium, fast, medium. So just follow along with me as I guide you through this meditation, okay? So we're only going to be doing nose-mouth. So First, exhale all the air out of your lungs, out of your mouth. Nose, mouth, medium. Nose, mouth, slow. Nose, mouth, medium. Nose, mouth, fast. Nose, mouth, medium. Nose, mouth, slow. Nose, mouth, medium. Nose, mouth, fast. Nose, mouth, medium. So that was 2 cycles of the delta wave breath. Now, what we're going to do is we are going to convert that delta charge, which is what has just been activated, what we just did through those 9 nose-mouth breaths at these intervals of speed. What we did is we've wound up all that energy. We're bringing it to the surface. We're understanding how our delta brainwave is manifested and the charges are held within our body. So if you're having specific memories come up, if you're having specific thoughts come up, just let them go for now. What we're going to do is we're going to convert it with gamma. So what we're going to do is we're going to do 9 more breaths just like we just did, but this will be mouth-mouth. This will be mouth-nose. This is nose-nose. This is nose-mouth. Mouth-mouth. Mouth-nose. Nose-nose. Nose-mouth. Mouth-mouth. Okay, so I am going to specify the speeds, so just follow along as best as you can. If you don't get it right the first time, just go back and rewatch this video. So now we will begin. Okay, so first exhale all the air out of your lungs, out of your mouth. Mouth, mouth, medium. Mouth, nose, slow. Nose, nose, medium. Nose, mouth, fast. Mouth, mouth, medium. Mouth, nose, slow. Nose, nose, medium. Nose, mouth, fast. Mouth, mouth, medium. Just take a second, be with it. It's okay if you make mistakes. You have your entire life to practice meditation. You have your entire life. Anywhere you are, in most situations at least, you can practice the breath. But first we have to get past the understanding of the cycles of how this practice works. Okay, so essentially what we just did was we just did 2 cycles of the G breath, but with the structure of the wave. So we assigned speeds and depth to the different brain waves. Now these can be done in different ways. Okay, you can flip the wave and have a fast mouth nose and a slow nose mouth. You can do it like that, or you can have the process start off slow, and then as you get to theta, then it gets fast, and then ends slow again. These two, the alpha and the delta, can be medium. So the structure would look like a hill or a hump. Or reverse it and it'll look like a U or a bowl. And nose would be the fast one. Sorry, the wind is shaking my camera setup. But do you understand essentially what we're doing? We're going in and we are focusing on a specific brainwave charge, and then what we're doing by doing that specific wave breath, so if what we just did was a delta wave breath and then a gamma wave breath to convert it. So one interesting practice that you can do is you can do each of the brain waves. So what you would do is you would do 2 cycles of the beta wave breath, convert them to gamma with 2 cycles of a G wave breath. Then do 9 breaths or 2 cycles of the alpha wave breath, right? Afterwards, convert it to gamma with the G wave breath. And then do the same for theta, then do it for delta, and then finish it off with a second set of these beta wave breaths and convert it to gamma. And after each 2 cycles of each of the individual brain waves, convert them to gamma. So this is essentially a deeper layer or a deeper level to converting more information, converting more memory. This is essentially health and healing. This is because there's different ways to heal the mind and the body. Now you can try and eat healthy, you can try and exercise, you can try and approach it from a materialistic point of view of the health and exercise and all that. You can approach it from that viewpoint, but this is approaching it from a point of view of consciousness. By going in and understanding the electromagnetic code that is coding our brains and our body, and essentially tapping in to the specific charges that are throughout our electromagnetic field. See, these chakras here, each of the ones here in the center relate to one specific breath. So the beta, every time you breathe mouth, you're essentially activating this chakra. So one thing you'll notice is, of the 4 basic, delta is the slowest, then theta is a little bit faster, alpha is faster, and beta is the fastest of all of these. This is a very fast breath. I believe from 13 to 28 or 13 to 30 hertz. Beta resonates at that frequency. Alpha is, I believe, 7 to 13, theta is 4 to 7, and delta is 0 to 4. So when, say, you start jogging, you go for a run, right, and it exhausts you and you feel out of breath, one thing you'll notice is that you'll start breathing in and out of your mouth naturally. And why that is because this is the fastest, and this chakra has to do with your chemistry, right? And so what your body is trying to do is it's trying to activate the electromagnetic field of the body to speed up, to catch up with the rhythm that you're putting your body through. See, we do these things unconsciously, okay? So what you'll notice is that most of the time, for most people, they're breathing in and out of their nose, okay? And theta has to do with the mental nature of life, the information, right? And by breathing nose all the time, which is what most people do, it's very shallow, they're not consciously doing it. What that's doing is it's creating a very, very high charge of theta, and what that essentially does is it causes people's consciousness to mentally associate their identity with the information that's flowing through their head. It essentially causes them to think that their ego or their thought stream or their opinions and their personality, they think that that's them because that's the only charge that most people are actually breathing in. You see what I'm saying? And when you do, say for instance, the theta wave breath, say if you were to do 2 cycles, by going through this like with the 9 breaths, what you'll notice is that the information or the memory becomes very, very clear, very obvious, right? And when you convert it to gamma with the G wave breath, what you'll notice then is that the confusion or the charge that was activated here gets cleared away. And you start to understand how you got locked into that specific brainwave. You understand what I'm saying? So, again, just to reiterate and take this home. When you are doing the G breath, right, your one cycle is 5 breaths. And what you're doing is you're breathing mouth, or inhale through your mouth, exhale through your mouth. Inhale through your mouth, exhale through your nose. Inhale through your nose, exhale through your nose. Inhale through your nose, exhale through your mouth. And when you do that second beta, that second mouth, that's one circuit. That's one full cycle of breath for the gamma breath. And when you do that, every single time you come around full circle with this breath, you're producing gamma brainwaves, which is one of the 2 fusion breaths. See, zeta and gamma are the fusion breaths where it encapsulates all the energy throughout your entire field, right? Zeta and gamma are just opposites in how they do that. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is one cycle, and when you do the second mouth, when you come all the way around, that acts as the first, so you would just go straight into mouth, nose, mouth, mouth. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's 2 cycles. And then 10, 11, 12, 13. So actually, it never hurts to continue going back to the basics. It never hurts to keep practicing the basics. So what we're going to do is we're going to ignore the wave breath for now. And we're going to just do 3 more cycles of the G breath. Okay? Without the speeds. So don't focus on the speeds. We're just going to do normal breaths for each of the brainwaves. We're going to practice, okay? Because I feel like I haven't gone into depth of this as much as I should. And I honestly don't think that I'm the best teacher when it comes to this either. I feel like I'm skipping over a lot of important aspects. But what we're going to do while the light is still up, we're going to just do 3 cycles of the G breath, just to maybe clear up some confusion you may have. Again, if you've not seen the first video in this series, go back and rewatch it. But it does help to understand the graph as well, to see the geometry of this. Because the sacred G is not only for gamma, right? It's also for geometry, because this is the geometric breath. Okay? So follow my guided meditation. We're going to do 3 cycles of the G breath. So first, fully exhale all the air out of your lungs, out of your mouth. Breathing in through your mouth. And out through your mouth. Breathing in through your mouth. And out through your nose. Breathing in through your nose. And out through your nose. Breathing in through your nose. And out through your mouth. Inhaling through the mouth. And exhaling out of your mouth. Inhaling through the mouth. And breathe out through your nose. Breathing in through your nose. And out through your nose. Breathing in through your nose. And out through your mouth. Breathing in through your mouth. And out through your mouth. Breathing in through your mouth. and out through your nose. Breathing in through your nose. And out through your nose. Breathing in through your nose. And out through your mouth. Mouth, mouth. Are you starting to see the structure of it? How it functions? You start here, and you always end here. But every time you end here, it's a new start for this next cycle. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 breaths is one cycle. 6, 7, 8, 9 is 2. 10, 11, 12, 13 is 3 breaths. I feel like I'm trying to make that as clear as possible because I don't want people to be like, I want people to be completely aware of how the G breath works. After practicing it enough to where this breathing pattern becomes second nature, then you want to start working on the mastery of the breath. And the way that that is done is by eventually learning the wave breath and lengthening and giving depth to your breathing to where you can complete a massive memory conversion by only one cycle. But that'll be for later videos. One thing to note is that these chakras are the 6 colors of the rainbow. And I know what some people are thinking, there's 7 colors of the rainbow, but that's not exactly true. When it comes to these colors, there's only 6. Well, there's more than that, obviously, but this is a very, very powerful geometric structure of this. I know what people are saying, that there's indigo and violet, but indigo is really just a darker shade of blue, and violet is purple. Okay? So, what you'll notice is that, look at the 3 primary colored chakras. You have red, yellow, and blue. In between red and yellow, you have orange. And in between yellow and blue, you have green. And in between red and blue, you have purple. So perfect symmetry. This is what the Merkaba is. This is what the cube is, okay? This is the 6 sides of the cube. The XYZ axis of 3-dimensional space. You have up, down, left, right, forward, reverse, okay? And one thing you'll notice is that these 6 are the auxiliary chakras, or the auxiliary brainwaves, that are all centered on this 7th point, okay? Going back to the resonance field of 4, 7, 7, 13, okay? If you were to look at the cipher, if you look at the Gematria cipher, what you'll notice is that if you connect the lines of the non-primes, okay? I guess I have time to write it out, but I'm going to do it on a separate paper. Okay. What you'll notice is, so I'm just going to use the, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay? This can also be seen as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13. Okay? So, what you'll notice is that 7 is here in the center. Okay? Because you have the first 6 digits here and the second set of 6 digits here. Okay? And if you connect, looking at this bottom row of numbers, okay? If you connect all the lines from the non-primes, which is 1, 4, and 6, what you'll get here is what is known as the menorah, the 7 candlestick of, Jewish tradition of the Hanukkah, right? This is also Kabbalah, right? Because there's the 3 Sephiroth on this side and the 3 on this side. See, there's actually 12 spheres or Sephiroth or fruit on the Kabbalah, which is the tree of life. Okay, and the tree of life is the axis mundi, it's the spine, it's the chakras, right? That line up. It's essentially light that has manifested as the human body that gives this map to understanding our energy field because it's structured. Okay, so if you look at the menorah, right, and we're going to do it again here on this side. And I know the numbers on the top row aren't necessarily non-primes, but this is just when it comes to the cipher. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 candlesticks, right? What you'll notice is that you have this shape here. These 3, you have the center circle, this ring, and this ring, okay? And that is what is known as the menorah, which is the man aura, the mon aura, right? It's the aura, it's the energy field. So if you look at it from this point of view, you'll notice that, hang on, let me point something out real quick. What you'll notice is that these are the 3 lower chakras and these 3 are the 3 higher chakras. But yellow and green are part of the same energy field. They're just 2 different halves of it. And blue and orange are on the same energy ring, and purple and red are on the same energy ring. Okay, so that means that zeta and gamma are opposites, right? Zeta is going this, gamma is going this way through the sequence, and zeta is going counterclockwise, right? Beta and delta are connected, so mouth, mouth, and nose, mouth. And then alpha and theta are connected, which is mouth, nose, and nose, nose. Okay? So these chakras are mirrored in this way through this. And I don't know if you've ever seen a light pixel, but if you're staring at, say, your window when the sun is rising, and you squint your eyes at the lights shining through the window, right? You'll see these little pixel things coming off of the light. It's like the light is made up of these little pixels, but instead of on a computer where they're square shaped to show images on a screen, all the things that we see that are illuminated through light are made up of these circular pixels. This is what I call a light pixel, and these things make up the entire universe, right? Anything that's made out of light, which is essentially all of life, are made up of these little particles of light, and that manifests itself through the rainbow, because the rainbow is essentially the dispersion of light through a prism, and as that manifests, it creates the rainbow, and that rainbow reflects itself infinitely in everything that's alive, right? The rainbow is a sort of map or a graph, a structure, a blueprint to the various different facets or archetypes of our energy fields. Theta has, for instance, beta has to do with their chemical structure. It has to do with our voice, right? It has to do with the way that it's sort of like a bridge. It's sort of like how we connect the inner and the externalized world, right? It's our vocal expressions. Beta brainwaves have a lot to do with drawing the consciousness and the attention outwards. Whereas when you go into mouth nose, what you're doing is you're drawing your consciousness away from what's going on outside of you, and you're going into yourself. And when you're in nose nose, that's you in your internal world. That's you in your thoughts. That's you in the realm of the inside, right? And as you go nose mouth, it draws the attention from your inner thoughts back to your externalized field, and once you go to mouth mouth, it bridges the consciousness back outside, right? So beta and delta act as a sort of medium, right? Whereas think of it like this inner circle here of alpha and theta, right? This one here in the very core, that is your core, that is your past, that is what contains pretty much all of your memories, right? And that is your past because it's inside you, right? That's where your memories are held. Now, this beta delta ring, this is the present moment. It is the bridge that allows new experiences from outside of you to be able to be communicated with that which is inside of you. You understand what I'm saying? So as you come to this one here, this is the future, right? This is the world of potential. This is the realm of the external, the quantum field, if you will. Well, maybe not so much the quantum, but it's the world of 3D. It's the options where you can go out and you can do things and add more experiences that will integrate themselves into your core and make it a part of your past. But it's this middle ring here that is the present moment, which acts as a sort of bridge to allow experiences to come in and out. You see what I'm saying? So the light is starting to go, but I guess I just kind of wanted to go into a little bit more depth of energy and how essentially every moment of life and the way that we are breathing is essentially coding or programming our consciousness. It's programming the way our body feels. It's programming the way we think. It's programming everything about us as individuals. And by understanding how the breath and by being able to consciously use the breath as a means of understanding how our experiences and how our past and the way that we feel is all being coded, right? These are different dimensions. Every time you have an intense emotion, you are in the alpha green dimension. Every time you start thinking critically and you start thinking of data and information, you are in the realm of the sun, the realm of fire. That's information, right? This is the generative realm. This has to do with, again, that bridge. This has to do with observations and expressions, the delta brainwave. Every time you listen to any of these brainwaves, binaural beats or isochronic tones on YouTube, you're essentially activating one of these realms, okay? Now, and whenever you start thinking of that bridge, it can be two opposite ways. It can be the energy inside you, you know, as well as the energy outside you, okay? So this has more to do with the vocalization, right? The expressions. It's like a chemical state. It's a chemical structure, right? It's physicality, but the physicality of your mind. Whereas zeta is more so when it comes to moving the energy outside of you, rather than thinking of it from like a chemical or a whatchamacallit, like a mental place in a sense. Okay, so this is essentially coding your chemistry. And if you have like, say for instance, eating disorders, or if you have an overactive thought process that's keeping you up at night, it may be due to some misunderstanding when it comes to your chemical patterns in your life. And by going in and focusing on beta, it helps you to clear out those charges, right? Whereas delta, this is probably one of the most mysterious because it has to do with our sexual organs, okay? So there's always more. It's more of an intuitive thing. Only so much of this knowledge can be put into words without it becoming too subjective, okay? And again, I don't do that much gamma, so I'm not really a teacher of this, okay? I am essentially just going with the flow and teaching what I know to the limits that I know it. But I'm not a specialist in this field. This is just basic information that I happen to know, and I feel like more people need to know about this stuff, okay? It's the only reason why I'm doing this. If you really want to get to the nitty-gritty, research Corey Love, Corey Herter, you'll see what I'm talking about. This stuff, it goes deep. It's infinite. Just like the law of time, it is infinite. Now, one thing to notice about gamma, though, right, is gamma is where we get the word game. Gamma is where we get the word magic, because mag backwards is gam. Okay, so gamma is the magic chakra. It is the psychic chakra. It is the sixth sense. See, they want to make you think that you only have 5 senses, which are what these 5 down here are, right? You have touch, taste, sight, scent, and sorry, what is it? Hearing, I believe. You have these 5 basics, these 5 basic senses that we all know about, right? But then they say, oh, the sixth sense is not an actual thing. No, it's thought. It's everything that has to do with the mind and the psychic energy. All the magical, spiritual, vibratory stuff, right? That's gamma. That's why it has the connection to magic and game, right? So, even though I don't think of life as a game, that's just where you get the word from, okay? See, gamma has, in a lot of ways, been weaponized in many, many ways. So it's sort of like a humbling chakra. It sort of humbles us because it shows us how much power we actually have as individuals, okay? So, yeah, I don't really want to go too much more into depth with this right now, just because I'm really only making this video just because I felt like I had the opportunity to, but I don't really feel all that great right now. I'm dealing with some very, very deep traumatic memory charges that are coming up in my life at the moment. But I encourage everybody that even though we'll still go through these ups and downs in life, that will never go away. What we can do, though, is appreciate the breath for what it is and understand that we can utilize the breath and our understanding of it to tap more into our deeper senses and our deeper memories, and to be able to heal ourselves. Because a lot of the times, the thing that keeps drawing us back in to an old memory is not being able to clearly understand the relationship between these things, okay? And so that what that does is it causes us to repeat our own history, and it causes us to continually make the same mistakes over and over and over again. And by doing that, it causes us pain and suffering. So, there was one other thing that I wanted to mention before I go. Trying to remember. Oh yeah. So what you'll notice is that mouth and nose they start with the letters M and N. These are just abbreviations to by the way, copy this image on your own paper. That way you can understand it more clearly, and you'll have the geometric map to it. All of this, okay? So what you'll notice about the letters M and N, though, is that they're sine waves, okay? Both M and N, and they're in the middle of the alphabet, right? Because M is the 13th letter, and then N would be the 14th, right? So if you were to look at all 26 letters, like A and Z would be right here, and across the board it would be M and N, okay? So they are sine waves. So like M would be like this, ultimately pointing down, and N points up. Now why is that? It's because your nose is above your mouth. Mouth is lower, nose is higher. And if you'll notice in the I Ching, you have these two strands that construct the I Ching. You have a fixed line and a broken line. Well, what does that look like but your mouth and your nose? See? All of this is connected. And I don't have time to get into this right now, but if you were to look at all of the different breaths, right? And three... No, I'm not going to talk about this. It's too complicated. I feel like I would just be confusing people. But that's the thing about Confucius, is that he confuses us. I'm just making jokes at this point. But I hope this has been helpful. Again, we only practiced a regular 3-cycle G breath. We only practiced 2 cycles of a delta wave and 2 cycles of a gamma wave, right? But again, learn this stuff, practice it. I will try and give resources where I can, and just comment below and tell me exactly what it was, reference it in the point in the video of what I said, because I don't really remember every detail of what I'm saying in these videos, but just, you know, ask me for something, another resource on whatever particular topic you want to know about, and I'll try and find something, because it's kind of hard to find these videos right now. I don't entirely understand why, but I'm sure there's a very valid reason for it. But again, remember, practice with the G breath first, okay? Practice the G breath as much as you can, and when you feel that it's becoming second nature and you have it down as habit, right? Like you have it down in your muscle memory, then you can start practicing the wave breaths. And that means you can start honing in on the specific chakras and converting them to gamma or zeta if that's what you prefer. But again, I would say practice everything. Practice the G breath and practice the Z breath, which is the backwards G breath. Practice both of those, okay? And then practice the G wave and practice the Z wave, okay? Once you get the G breath, the Z breath, the G wave, and the Z wave down, then start honing in on these individual brain waves. Start with all of that and take it from there. And I'll see you in the next one.